Yeah, it's on. We back with another show. I think you already know. Man, the first show we did today was wonderful. We back with another one. And tap on in. We're going to talk about the black population and the black population in major cities and how you've seen a decrease in that population. You know, the black population in New York City ain't it's not as big as it used to be. Same thing for Los Angeles, the same thing for Miami, the same thing for Chicago. The black population is on a decline, and we're going to talk about why. So, where you guys at? I appreciate you guys. Pull on up. Let's have a conversation. Yeah, man. I've been talking about this for the last few years. Black population, immigrants, high rent, gentrification. What open borders, how open borders affect black communities across the country. Let's get it. Let's have a conversation. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Let's have it. Let's get it. You already know we with it. Man, they've been protesting in New York City, protesting in Cali, protesting all across the country, protesting in North Carolina. And yeah, we voted ourselves out of those cities. That's the biggest reason. Unfortunately, yes, a lot of us have voted Democrat, but then again, the Republicans are no better. But we had no business voting Democrat, so I understand that 100%. You know, here we go again. Here we go again. I had to put my DMX voice on. Here we go again. It's the same old time, just a different day. Here we go again. Yeah, and you show up every day to complain about my subject matter. So it's obvious that you love the content. So why why do you want my attention so bad, Shay? It's clear to see that. Just say, "Hey, Red, I want your attention." That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. I want your attention, and that is why I troll you every chance I get. Look at me, look at me. Yeah, look at me. But yeah, man. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to Dolph Obama. Shout out to you for the super chat. And that is realer than rap. No cap. It's Red Supreme. King Supreme, that is. Hey, man, we're going to take a deep dive into this conversation. You already know conversation rules the nation. People going to hate the content because they hate the content. But then people who claim that they hate the content, they still come up in here and they love it. Your girl Shay said, it's valid concerns. You're not concerned with the content. You're not concerned with the content I make. After all, you are far right MAGA. No, I'm not. You've never seen me with a Make America Great hat on. You never see me with a MAGA hat on. You never heard me support MAGA. The only thing with me is I want to get rid of immigrants, illegal immigrants. If you ask me, they should have closed these borders a long time ago, but that alone doesn't make me MAGA. Shout out to Abdullah. Abdullah, if it's your birthday, man, salute to you. I'm the type of person who advocates for closed borders, deport illegal immigrants, send these people back home. But that doesn't make me MAGA. Not at all. shout out to you, Frederick. You already know. You don't see me on panels with white people talking about nonsense. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm a King Supreme is what you would call an independent thinker. That's what I am, man. That's exactly what it is. Now, this is New York City. They're going crazy out there in NYC. Oh, they finna get you. Hey, look, he pushed the trash can on the police. So I like, oh, they finna get you for that, buddy. They ain't gonna let you get away with that. They gonna make an example out of you. Look, watch this. Oh, kicked it on the pole. Get him on the ground.
Let's go. We're on our west. Let's go. Let's go.
All this protesting, all this, man, just a waste of time. Acting a fool in New York City, all because you want America to legalize border hopping. It's not gonna happen.
You fucking pig!
You heard him out there, you effing pig, you effing pig. You're going to jail now, bucko. No more freedom for you. Off to jail you go. Bucko. Hey man, them immigrants acting a fool in New York City, man. Christmas season. It's gonna be a whole lot of folks in jail. Send them back home. Put them in an immigrant facility. It is time to exit the city. It is now time to go back home.
We're good.
This is fucked up.
What do you guys think about the ICE arrest?
This is fucked up.
Now
This is crazy.
look at this black chick talking about it's messed up. Do you know they're using immigrants to replace the black population? I don't want to see what man, just gone. Just get out of here. Now, these people ain't got nothing else to do. You know what they said? We're going to fight to legalize border hopping. We're going to march. We're going to protest across New York City, all across New York City. We're going to march. We're going to raise hell. We're going to block off the city streets. So you seen that, man. Let's go to the next clip. Man, this is crazy.
Fox News alert, here we go. One of the two National Guardsmen shot on Thanksgiving Eve is still fighting for his life. He's in critical condition this morning. He remains there.
And it comes as officials reveal the suspect was likely radicalized while living here in the United States.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with the latest. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning. The family of 24-year-old Andrew Wolf is asking for prayers. He's receiving an outpour of support, including from West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey.
You know, I had a chance to be at the hospital yesterday, and I want to tell you something. When you go there, sometimes when you go to a hospital, a lot of people are very concerned. People certainly are here, but
So one of the National Guards, he's still fighting for his life. You know, the female passed away, and the guy, he's still fighting for his life, man. You know, hopefully he pulls through. You know, blessings to you and your family. Hey, man, let's keep it tight. Let's get it right. See, this is what happens when you open the borders for any and everybody. This is what happens when you allow millions of unvetted illegals into your country. This is the ending result. Now you got to clean up all this mess.
positive energy, the spirit that the families bring to bear, that his friends have. Everyone is rooting for him so hard to make it to that next level, and it's really encouraging to see.
Communities in West Virginia have been holding vigils for 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, who passed away on Thanksgiving. President Trump is extending an invite to meet with Beckstrom's parents.
I said, when you're ready, because that's a tough thing, come to the White House. We're going to honor Sarah. And likewise with Andrew, recover or not, we're going to honor her.
Investigators have been going through the background of the suspect, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakhanwal, an Afghan national who once worked with the CIA. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem revealing a big update as investigators look into what motivated Lakhanwal to allegedly drive from Washington state to the nation's capital to carry out this attack.
We believe he was radicalized since he's been here in this country. We do believe it was through connections in his home community and state, and we're going to continue to talk to those who interacted with him. Anyone who has information on this needs to know that we will be coming after you, and we will bring you to justice.
Another Afghan national is facing state terror charges in Texas after DHS says he plotted to make a bomb with the intention of targeting the Fort Worth area.
So there you go, man. This is what's been going on, right?
For more on this, let's bring in Middle East Forum Chief Strategist Jim Hansen. He served in the U.S. Army's Special Forces. There was a big push, obviously, during the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Well, let's go to this, man. We're going to talk about our declining population in major cities. Shout out to Desmond Hill for being the first one to bless that Cash App. You know,
colored floor. The Black American contribution.
Now, let's talk about Miami, man. We're going to talk about immigration and how that has affected the Black population in Miami. And let's get into it. The game is fluid. You already knowing how we do it. Check game. King Supreme. Make sure that you like the stream. We're going to talk about Miami and its declining Black population. Where did all the Black people in Miami go? Where did they go?
The city of Miami, Florida. A city known for its vibrant culture, sunny beaches, and cosmopolitan lifestyle, owes much of its essence to the indelible mark left by its Black community. From early Black American former slaves to Bahamian settlers who laid its foundations and contemporary leaders shaping its future, the history of Black Americans in Miami is one of resilience, creativity, and unwavering determination. This narrative unfolds through the lens of their struggles, triumphs, and cultural contributions, creating a tapestry that is as complex as it is inspiring. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other videos.
Shout out to Black American Legacy, man. She has a great channel and she talks about Black history. So shout out to Black American Legacy. Make sure that you guys subscribe to her channel. Good stuff. Dope content over there, man.
Incorporation of Miami in 1896 was significantly influenced by the participation of Black voters and community members. This crucial role in the city's founding is often overlooked but deserves greater recognition. On June 28, 1896, Miami was officially incorporated as a city through a vote that prominently featured Black participation. Of the 368 registered voters who supported incorporation, 162, or 44%, were Black. This high percentage of Black voters was essential, as the required number of white male registered voters alone was insufficient to meet Florida's requirements for forming a new city. The significant Black presence at Miami's founding was closely tied to the city's rapid development. Henry Flagler's Florida East Coast Railroad project brought hundreds of Black laborers to the area. These workers, along with earlier Black settlers, were instrumental in clearing land and working on various construction projects. Black laborers worked alongside white workers in a temporary tent city during this period of growth, contributing significantly to Miami's early infrastructure and expansion. The Black community that contributed to Miami's incorporation was diverse in its origins. Many were migrants from other southern states, drawn by labor opportunities, while a substantial number were Bahamian immigrants who brought valuable skills and cultural influences. Dana Albert D.A. Dorsey, 1872 to 1940, was a remarkable figure in Miami's history, known as the city's first Black millionaire and a pioneering businessman, banker, and philanthropist. His life and achievements are particularly noteworthy given the challenges of racial segregation during his time. Dorsey's business ventures demonstrated his remarkable acumen and vision. Recognizing the dire need for housing for Black workers, he began purchasing land in Overtown, then referred to as Colored Town. He built and rented small shotgun houses, reinvesting the income to
Yeah, you see a lot of those shotgun houses in like Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. Them shotgun houses look like slavery. Yeah, it remind me of them good old days where Blacks was fresh off of the plantation, man. Them shotgun houses.
Expand his real estate holdings further. By 1916, Dorsey had opened the Negro Savings Bank, which provided essential financial services to the Black community. His influence extended beyond Overtown. In 1918, he purchased parts of Fisher Island, a testament to his business acumen, although he later sold it in 1919. Dorsey's philanthropy reflected his commitment to uplifting the Black community through education and public resources. He donated land for schools and a library.
Yeah, Ocoee, Florida, man. You know, I covered that story a lot. Yeah. July Perry, man. Look it up. The Ocoee, Florida massacre. Look it up. I covered that story several times on Red Supreme TV 1.
Ensuring access to education for Black children and adults. In 1917, he and his wife, Rebecca, sold land to the city of Miami for what would become Dorsey Park, a much-needed recreational space for Black residents. He also donated the land for Dorsey High School, selling it to Dade County Public Schools for just 1 penny. Shortly before his death, he donated land for the Dorsey Memorial Library, which opened in 1941 and stands as a legacy of his dedication to education. In the early 20th century, Overtown emerged as a thriving hub for Black Miami.
Yeah, there's a lot of shotgun houses in New Orleans for sure. No doubt. They're all over the South, man. You got shotgun houses all over the South, man. Those are old school houses. They need to remodel those houses. Because in Alabama, you still see them like, man, y'all need to remodel these houses. These houses are old.
Originally called Colored Town, it became a sanctuary for Black residents during segregation. Despite systemic barriers, the community flourished, establishing businesses, schools, and cultural institutions. Overtown's heyday saw the rise of Black-owned hotels, theaters, and nightclubs that hosted some of the biggest names in entertainment.
Yeah, Miami is Latin America right now. That's the heart of Latin America is Miami. You know, the Black population is pretty much like, you know, same thing that's happening in Los Angeles. So Miami is no different.
Including Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, and Nat King Cole.
Atlanta too. Atlanta is changing. Atlanta is still like 50% Black. Got to be like 50% Black. But at one particular time, Atlanta was 70% Black. Right? But now you got a bunch of immigrants living there. You know, it's still a city that's populated with a lot of Black people, but the Black population has declined in Atlanta as well. I know because I was just in Atlanta earlier this year. I've seen it myself. You know, there's a lot of immigrants in the city of Atlanta now. So all of these major cities are changing. The Black population is decreasing in all of these major cities across the country. Y'all better peep game.
Overtown's nightlife was legendary, earning it the moniker Harlem of the South. The Lyric Theater, built in 1913, became the cultural heartbeat of the neighborhood, offering a stage for performances and community gatherings. Beyond its entertainment venues, Overtown boasted a network of professionals.
All right, we're gonna go back to that. Now let's see what Eric Adams had to say about the Black population in New York City. Had to give y'all a little brief history.
Mayor Adams was in Albany today to get more money for the city, and during the state budget hearing, the discussion turned to the decrease in New York City's Black population. CBS 2's Jesse Mitchell takes a closer look at the data.
I'm concerned about my teacher and McDonald's worker. They are being priced out of the city.
Mayor Eric Adams and state lawmakers agree more affordable housing would mean more New Yorkers could find a home, especially people of color.
We know that there's also been historic barriers put in the way of blacks renting and owning in New York City.
Your community is ground zero for that problem.
Senator Cordell Cleary of Harlem pointed to a recent New York Times article outlining the disparities in the data. The latest census shows while the city's overall population grew by nearly 8% in the past decade, the Black population dropped by 4.5%. Brooklyn lost nearly 70,000 Black residents.
Landlords are able to have these absorbent fees and costs is because of the stock. That's why we have to build more.
Dr. Regine Jackson grew up in Brooklyn before moving to Atlanta to analyze migration patterns as a sociology professor at Morehouse College.
Even as neighborhoods are being revitalized, we need to make sure that it's not just a bunch of tear downs and where what we call legacy residents.
She says now we're seeing the reverse of the Great Migration during the Reconstruction era, when blacks moved from the South to northern cities.
Because the South is still struggling with some of the same problems that were plaguing Southerners during the Civil Rights Movement and before.
City and state leaders hope to find a way to make New York affordable for all those who grew up here to stay.
We built a whole lot, and we built our own displacement. So I want to make sure that going forward, that we now focus on that, learn from those mistakes, and make sure that we're including all New Yorkers, including Black residents who want to remain in the community.
Jesse Mitchell, CBS 2 News.
Mayor Adams also asked the legislature to provide possible sites in their districts where.
So that's New York City for you, man. Let's get on over here. This is crazy right here, man. Let's get on over here. She was going off on Mayor Johnson.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in a big.
This Danny C, man. This is my girl from Chicago, man. She been going hard on Brandon Johnson. Shout out to Danny. She been putting in a whole lot of work. Much love to that sister.
$1 billion deficit, and you were.
Look at Brandon Johnson sitting up there looking dumb, looking dumbfounded. The woman is speaking the truth, so what could he really say? The only thing he could do is respond with lies in order to save face, but the woman is clearly telling the truth. Now, this is Chicago, man. Chicago woman ripped Mayor Brandon Johnson over his position on illegal aliens.
Not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want a forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second, stop her time. Just a second, stop her time. Ma'am, I would ask that you, if you want to.
Oh man, listen, man. The people are mad. Listen, they're upset about this, homie. You're trying to replace the black population with illegal immigrants, and people are fed up with this.
Continue speaking. If you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate. Okay. All right.
Alex.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're gonna spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool, because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
This was gonna happen to you. You got Cash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're gonna have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's gonna be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Mr. Brandon Johnson, I'm up here.
He said, Brandon Johnson, you're going to have on this orange jumpsuit. You're going to be in jail. Hey, man, shout out to the people of Chicago for going in on Brandon Johnson. He deserves it.
I am speaking right now, so I would love your undivided attention, please. I'll wait. So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in this city. You can't even give me straight eye contact. Now, I'm going to let you know now, the people of Chicago, we're done with you. It is insane how we have been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years, and we've never seen a change from people like you, Lori Lightfoot, Rob Emanuel. It is insane. Chicago was 37% red. In 2020, it was only 15%. So we're waking up. So you can pretend that this isn't happening, but I know for a fact that you will not have that seat the next election.
You so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens.
I got a great way how we can what we can do with this budget. First, let's start with cutting off illegals, getting free everything. Free housing, free schooling, free food. Yeah, let's start with that. That'll save us a lot of money. What, $600 million? Let's start there. Then let's start with your salary. You are going down in history as the worst mayor in America. Let's start with cutting yours. You making too much money. Let's start there. You Democrats, and you remember you told us to defund the police? Remember, you ran on that. Remember, you was the defund the police? Let's start with that. Let's defund the police detail that you have. And let's put the police back in our neighborhood, because we're not for defunding the police. Won't you just practice what you preach? Remove all the details. We saw you coming in today. You had all the police presence. So let's take some of that away.
Hey, man, I had to get on Brandon Johnson's helmet, man, but that's what's going on, man. That's what's going on. Flooding major cities with illegals.
That cannot continue. We could be criminals.
Now, look, this is what's going on in Los Angeles. Let's move over to Los Angeles. And you got Karen Bass, horrible. She's no better than Brandon Johnson. She's terrible as well. Flooding Los Angeles with these illegals and using our tax dollars to fund these people, giving them housing, giving them medical, giving them dental. Let's bring in millions of illegals and dump them in Los Angeles. Yes, that sounds like a great idea. Brilliant.
Coming and going to Home Depot stores, continuing to chase people through parking lots, detaining them for no particular reason under the auspices that they could be criminals, comes down to one thing, and that is racial profiling, because how on earth would they know that they potentially could be criminals? A couple of days ago, I stood with our superintendent and a number of educators, and we had a press conference because today is the first day of school. We literally had a press conference to assure parents that their kids would be safe, to encourage them to come back to school, and to reveal several strategies to keep their kids safe. And just think about that for a minute, because we were talking about protecting their children from their federal government. That is an atrocious abuse of power, and this week we saw the experiment continue. The experiment moved to Washington, D.C., now under the auspices of crime. But it's all about the seizure of federal power from local governments. And this is something that cannot continue. We know the next step is to go to the Supreme Court, and we are hoping that we will have a good decision there. But the question looms before us. Even if we do have a positive court decision, will the administration follow the rule of law? But we're all here today in solidarity to say that we will continue to resist. We are not going to accept this behavior from this administration, and that Los Angeles stands united. And so with that, let me introduce the great...
Now you see how these black mayors are protecting illegals? Fighting for illegals, protecting illegals, but does nothing for FBA. Karen Bass ain't done nothing for Foundation of Black Americans, absolutely nothing. She's too damn busy caping for illegals. The same thing with Brandon Johnson in Chicago. The same thing with Eric Adams in New York. You've seen what happened to the black population in Miami. Miami is Latin America. You barely see black folks when you go to Miami. You got to go to you got to go to the ghetto to see black folks in Miami. You know what I mean? Overtown and certain little parts like that. When you're out and about, you barely see black folks in Miami like that. Look at Karen Bass. Look at what they're doing to Los Angeles. It's pitiful.
Councilwoman from the district, Katie Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you and to talk about such a critical time that's touched every.
So now you've seen what's going on with that. Let's go over here to the black population in Los Angeles. Hit the like button. It ain't nothing. It's your boy.
Here. Good day, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Now, recently, in a recent live year 2028, that's about 4 years from now. Now, what I did was I actually took a look at, I went to the website Color of Wealth.
Shout out to Samba Journeys, man. He did a good job at breaking down the black population in Los Angeles. Shout out to Samba Journeys.
And what I want you to do is take a look at this clip, because there's some very interesting things that we were able to pull out of this website, because they had a chart that showed, where each demographic was economically. And I want you to take a look at that, because there's some other things I'm gonna show you too in this video, but we're gonna rewind a little bit. Let's look at the clip, and I'll be right back afterwards. Let's see. Let's go to what I wanted to show you guys. This is the Color of Wealth. Let me pull that website up here. Color of Wealth. Okay, is this it? Hope this is it. Yeah, this is it.
He said by 2028, the black population in Los Angeles it's gonna be gone. It'll be gone. The black population in 5 years will be gone in Los Angeles.
This is it. This is it. We're going to go to Los Angeles. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to go to Los Angeles. Let's pull that up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this here. All right, so I posted this the other day, or yesterday, I should say, on our community page, and I want y'all to take a look at this again because it's very important. And the reason why this is important because it really highlights why it is important for us to point out, separate, or delineate Black American, or what we call Black American, from everybody else. And so what you see on your screen here, this is the net worth by race. Now, this is in Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles or LA is a very extreme case because it's very expensive. We've lived in Los Angeles, so yeah, it's very expensive out there, okay? But Los Angeles, if you know the history of Los Angeles, at least part of it, has a very deep Black American history. Black Americans, like a lot of places, helped build that city. And but there's a lot of deep history there, and Black people have been very much a part
Yeah, a
of
lot
it.
of blacks don't know that, man. So Black people played a major role in building Los Angeles. You don't believe me? Study the history. I spoke on that several times on Red Supreme TV1. But let's get back into this Los Angeles, the city, and how the Black population is pretty much gone. I mean, you have blacks who are still there, but listen, if you look at Los Angeles 25 years ago, then you look at Los Angeles now, completely different. Major changes.
The roots of that city. But let's take a look at this according to what they have on the site here. Let's look at the net worth by race. Okay, shall we? So it's on the screen. I just want to make sure it's on the screen. Okay, so you got an African Black, 72,000 is the median income, all right, which puts them above the median value, all right. Asian Indian, all right, that would be Kamala and the gang, right? Gosh, 460,000 above, which they said, which is 439,000 above the median. What in the world? Look at the Chinese, 408,200, which is 387 above the median. Filipino, 243,000.
Yeah, Central Avenue in Los Angeles was the West Coast Harlem. All your jazz musicians used to play there. The Black Panthers had a building on Central Avenue. The Bunchy Carter and the Black Panthers. Yeah, Central Avenue was like a major hub for Black Americans, jazz musicians, all different types of musicians, comedians, actors. Central Avenue was the West Coast Harlem of Los Angeles. If you go to Central Avenue today, it looks like Mexico. Central Avenue today looks like Tijuana, Mexico.
Which is 222,000 above the median. These people are doing quite well so far, aren't they? Let's go on. The Japanese are killing it. 592,000, which is 571,000 above the median value. Now look at the Koreans.
Yeah, that is scary, man. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, but it's scary, man. But you've seen the Black population decrease over the last 5 to 10 years. You've seen it. Let's get back to the content though. Bless the like button. It ain't nothing.
23.4. But isn't it interesting? Let's stop here for a second. They're 23.4, which is 2,400 above the median value. Now, this is a very interesting one as I'm sitting here looking at this and we're just kind of going through this. This is very interesting because who controls most, if not all, the beauty supply shops, especially in LA? I can answer that one because even when we were living out there, it was Koreans. But they're 2,400 above the median income, the median value, sorry.
Shout out to Scoop, man. Central Avenue looks like a third world country. Exactly. It's pitiful when you look at Central Avenue today.
Let's look at Mexicans. Mexicans are 3,500, which is 17.5 below the median value. So Mexicans right there. Let's look at this one here. Other Latino. You like that accent, huh? 42.5, which is 21.5 above the median income. All right, let's go to Vietnamese. 61.5, which is 40,500 above the median value. And of course, let's look at white folks. 355,000, which is 334 above the median. Well, now let's go to U.S. black. 4,000, which is 17,000 below the median value. You see that? So the difference between the U.S. blacks and Mexicans.
You got some dummy saying go back to Africa. Do you know that Black Americans are not from Africa? Nobody in our family came from Africa. Why don't you go back to Europe? Or maybe you need to go back to Mexico. I'm assuming that you're a Mexican or maybe even a European. Go back to Europe. Go to Mexico. Talking about go back to Africa. Nobody in our family, foundational Black Americans, are not from Africa. We've been in America since the beginning of this country. We've been in this country since the beginning. We're foundational Black Americans. You go back to Mexico. How about that? You go back to Europe, to the Caucasus Mountains. How about that?
The difference of $500. We're actually $500 net worth. We're $500 more valuable, quote unquote, than Mexicans. It's a difference of $500, according to this. Now, again, this is in Los Angeles, which is an extreme case. But the reason why I want to target on Los Angeles here is because of the fact in 4 years, they're going to have the Olympics. And as someone who has lived in a city where the Olympics, I saw it before it came, when it came, and then afterwards, I can tell you right now that by the time the Olympics comes and goes from Los Angeles, what the U.S. Black demographic in the Los Angeles area is going to be decimated. I'm telling you that right now. Because anytime that you're talking 4 years from now, what we know as a U.S. Black population in terms of median.
Shout out to Con Science, man. He breaking it down for y'all, man. He's telling you, man, the brother is putting y'all up on game. Shout out to shout out to Con Science. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's really rocking with me in a major way. King Supreme, bless that like button. You know it ain't nothing. Holla back. Let's get back to the content. He's telling you what the Black population in Los Angeles is going to look like within the next 4 years.
Between the U.S. blacks and Mexicans, it's a difference of $500. We're actually $500 net worth. We're $500 more valuable, quote unquote, than Mexicans. It's a difference of $500, according to this. Now, again, this is in Los Angeles, which is an extreme case. But the reason why I want to target on Los Angeles here is because of the fact in 4 years, they're going to have the Olympics. And as someone who has lived in a city where the Olympics, I saw it before it came.
See, when Mexicans hear this, they're happy. Mexicans want to steal hip hop. They want to steal our culture, but they want us out of Los Angeles. See, white people and Mexicans are happy to see that the Black population they're happy to see the Black population decrease in Los Angeles. Mexicans are happy about that, and white folks are happy about that. Please believe it. These people are not your friends. I mean, you might know individuals who are Mexican that are cool, but collectively, no, they are not cool. They want to see you gone. They want you out of here. That's why it makes no sense for blacks to be gangbanging in Los Angeles, because Mexicans want you out of Los Angeles. White folks want you out of Los Angeles. These people want to get rid of you. And you got the nerve to still talk about blood, cug, gangbang, sliding on your people. At this point, that is pure ignorance. It's pure ignorance at this point. Especially when you got a deep understanding of especially when you got an understanding, especially when you understand what's going on. Let me put it like that. When you understand what's going on, then you say, damn, they're still gangbanging in LA. Their population continues to decrease and they got time for that. Now you see the ignorance that I'm talking about. Everybody wants to get rid of you, including your own people. What up, blood? What up, cuz? What up, blood? What up, cuz?
When it came, and then afterwards, I can tell you right now that by the time the Olympics comes and goes from Los Angeles, what the U.S. black demographic in the Los Angeles area is going to be decimated. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Because anytime that you're talking 4 years from now, what we know as a U.S. black population in terms of median value, this is going to be decimated. Because as you know, that anytime the Olympics comes into a city or in a town or a country or whatever, or in this case is a base in the city, everything goes up. It becomes more expensive.
Man, there's no such thing as no black and brown unity. Mexicans want to use our culture, our music to make money. They're leeching off of our culture. But we already know that Mexicans in Southern California has a deep hatred for black people. Why you think they align themselves with white supremacists and peckerwoods in prisons across the state of Cali? That ought to tell you everything you need to know. Mexicans just want to steal from our culture. Mexicans want to leech off hip hop for financial gain. But at the same time, they got a deep hatred for our people. It's obvious. Y'all better wake up, man. I'm telling you no lies. I'm giving you facts 100%.
And as someone who's lived in Pasadena, someone who's lived in Orange County and all that, I could tell you that even then it was very expensive to live there. I can't even imagine what it's like now. So it's gone. In 4 years, this right here, this little demographic right here that you see right here, in 4 years, they're going to be gone. This is how real this is. So when people flip out and trip out when you're asking, hey, what are the specific policies for black Americans? This is why we're asking that. This is why this question is being asked. This is why I don't, when you see the boule types that are getting excited because Beyonce going to be performing at the DNC next week or whenever it is, or you got Steve Harvey, be quiet, Dwayne. You got Steve Harvey out here that's out here talking about telling black folks, y'all better be quiet because I'm just going to be lobbing her alley-oop. That's all I'm doing. I ain't going to be asking her no hard questions. See, Steve Harvey can get a house in LA and be cool. But the black folks that live in the areas in LA have been there traditionally for years and years and years. In 4 years, they ain't going to have a place. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just showing you this is what it looks like.
Everybody steals from black people. They hate us, but they want to steal from us. They want to leech off of our culture. Everybody do it. The thing is, in Los Angeles, it's wide open with the Mexicans because they're hypocrites. Black and brown unity, but you link up with white supremacists in prison. Share the same side of the yard as white supremacists. You can share things with them, but you can't share with blacks. Blacks in Los Angeles, man, you guys got to be foolish. If you think there's anything, if you believe that there's a black and brown coalition, if you believe that there's black and brown unity, it doesn't exist. The Southern California Mexicans link up with white supremacists in prison to go against you. They've been doing it for decades. All Mexicans want to do is steal your culture, leech off of hip hop for financial gain. That's exactly what they're doing. Then they overpopulate your community with these same Mexican immigrants. Y'all better wake up, man.
And this is why. So when you hear black people saying, well, some black people saying, you just caught up on just her skin color. No, you are. We're looking at policies. This is a danger zone right here. All these, even African blacks, look at you, for the Africans in the house. Do you see why now we have to delineate ourselves in terms of economics? Because I can tell you right now, this group ain't trying to lift up U.S. blacks. They're not. This is a race. What you're looking at is a race to the top. And according to this, the Japanese are winning they doing quite well in the LA area. All right. So yeah, so this website, this is colorofwealth.org. And I would encourage you to check it out. They have different cities on here. Check it out though. Okay. But the LA one I think is worth the focus because they are going to have the Olympics in by 2028, the Olympics is coming, which means that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be displaced by the time the Olympics comes. Yeah. Now, so for us, I actually lived in Atlanta just right before the Olympics came. And then I was down there while the Olympics was happening. And then after the Olympics left. And so it gave me a very interesting seat to observe the changes that took place just within in that time span as Atlanta was getting flushed with a whole bunch of money. There's a lot of people relocating to Atlanta during that time. And it gave me an opportunity to see this rapid change that was taking place. And one of the things that was very noteworthy was how the communities.
Listen, they use Mexican immigrants to overpopulate your communities. And not only that, Mexicans are trying their best to leech off of hip hop. Then when they go to prison, they link up with white supremacists. I mean, blacks in California, man, y'all got to wake up, man. I think it's too late for Cali now. I think it's too late. It's like you guys want to wake up when it's too late. Your population will be less than 5%. It's too late to wake up at that point. You ain't got enough numbers. You have no political power.
That had a lot of black history to them. And they've been there for a long time. You even had two churches that were there, almost close to 100 years. I think maybe one was probably a little bit over 100 years. Rapid change was taking place where eventually over time, this was kind of after the Olympics, those churches got pushed out. The city compensated them in that particular case. But what was happening was that the fact that change was taking place, this was something that was being trumpeted from every whatever, that, Atlanta is progressing. This is the place to be and all of that. But what about the people who were on the lower end of that economic scale? What about them? And the reason why I want to focus in on that is because of the fact that this is what's coming to the people in LA, the black Americans that have called the city of Los Angeles their home for generations. If you know anything about the rich history of Los Angeles, you know that black Americans helped put that city together and helped put that city on the map. And it's amazing history, and I would encourage anybody to take a look at it. But if you look at that chart that I just showed you earlier, you can see right in your face that once this Olympics comes in, I believe this is going to be the final wave that's really going to push out black Americans who have called that place home for a long time. It's going to push them out. I mean, it's just inevitable. And so what I want you to do is take a look at these clips here that I'm about to show you, because this is what happened.
And he's right. After the Olympics, prices are going to go up. That's going to push even more blacks out of the city once the Olympics come. Man, y'all better wake up. You got these LA podcasters talking about gangbanging, stupid stuff all day. They removing blacks from the city. Your hood ain't going to be your hood no more. You still talking about blood, cud, gangbanging, catching fade with ops. What you going to do? How you going to catch a fade in the county jail? You talk about stupidity on steroids. Talk about ignorance and stupidity on steroids from a lot of these blacks in Los Angeles. Just absent-minded. Don't know what's going on. They're too busy entertaining petty stuff that don't mean nothing. Who you caught a fade with in the county? Who can't come back to the hood? Your hood ain't gonna be your hood. No, you can't even afford to live in your hood, fool. Your community is majority Mexican and Latino. It ain't your hood no more. Black people don't own businesses like that in your community. Your neighbor is Hector. Your other neighbor is Juan Hernandez. Your neighbor, you got one neighbor, but one of your neighbors is named Hector. The other one is Juan Hernandez. Very few black people live on. Very few blacks live on your street. Very few blacks own homes in those communities. Very few blacks own businesses in these communities. It's over with.
In the city of Atlanta. Let's take a look at those.
Another thing from the last podcast that I learned was, because I think we got into gentrification.
It ain't your hood no more. It is a barrio. Hey, homie, it ain't your hood no more. It's a barrio. I mean, you got pockets of LA where you still got a decent black population, but overall, the majority of South Central and Compton is majority Latino and Mexican now. The black population has decreased in large numbers over the last 15 to 20 years. It ain't your hood no more. It is a barrio. Your neighbors are Hector. Your neighbor is Hector Martinez. The Davis family been left that street. The Jackson family and the Davis family, they been left that street. The Williams family, they been left that street. You got Juan Martinez, Hector Gonzalez. That's who's taking over your community, fool. And you got the nerve to talk about, what up, cuz, what up, cuz, what up, blood? Just looking retarded, just looking dumb. You talk about somebody with a low IQ, where there it go. You're not even paying attention to what's going on in your community. You're not paying attention to what's going on all across your city. You get on YouTube to talk about gang banging and stupid stuff all day. That's the problem with these LA podcasters. They are deaf, dumb, and blind. They're talking about things that are not, they're talking about silly stuff that's not important.
And we were talking about, you were talking about how white people didn't want to live in the same area code and street as black people. So on Moreland,
that's why once it crosses ponds,
they changed right when it crosses, when Moreland Street crosses Ponce de Leon, right after that it becomes Briarcliff Road. And they changed the zip code to be a different zip code and everything because they didn't want it to be associated with black people.
That's redlining and that's white flight.
That the city of Atlanta proper focused in an imbalanced way on business development. Companies to be headquartered here. Destroy these pockets.
At one time,
hit the like button. It ain't nothing, man. I'm just sharing this information with you guys, man. I know they're not gonna wake up.
Surprised me because practically none of our school spots are black owned.
Street and 53rd Avenue from places like Louisiana and Texas relocated west in search of something better. They came to Oakland, Los Angeles, Richmond, Long Beach, and they built. Today, Scope News presents the story California doesn't want to tell, the quiet erasure of its black legacy. This isn't about nostalgia. This is about what happens when a people are used to build cities, shape culture, and then get pushed out in silence. In LA, black people found work in shipyards, airplane plants, and the railroads. In Oakland, they helped run the ports, fix the engines, and raise the city's cultural pulse. West Oakland had Southern Baptist churches that echoed with Texas choirs. East Oakland smelled like gumbo and smoked ribs. People brought their traditions with them, and Black California began to rise. Like Lady Esther's Soul Food Restaurant that used to be located on East 14th Street and 53rd Avenue that opened in 1968. A native of Louisiana, Esther Clay founded this restaurant.
Nah, man, there's only a handful of us paying attention to what's really important. Most of your LA podcasters, they're talking about gangbanging and stupid stuff that really doesn't matter. They're talking about that every day. Now, it's cool to address it, but when that's all you talk about, well, it shows you how brainwashed blacks are in Los Angeles. Not all of us, but the people who entertain the nonsense. You're less than 10% of the city's population, and you're talking about gangbanging and harming people who look just like you. At this point, it's ignorance, it's stupidity. Blacks ain't gonna be satisfied until they get ran out of the city completely.
Which served East Oakland for decades. Locals said that the food was some of the best soul food that they had ever had. Inglewood, Crenshaw, and Compton were extensions of the South, but with palm trees and promise. But now, walk into those same neighborhoods and something feels off. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, once a place built for and by Black folks, is now run by a Mexican woman who is also the COO.
Now that's
Mexicans run Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I bet a lot of people didn't know that. A Mexican woman is now running Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. It ain't black no more. I want y'all to hear that again, and I knew this a long time ago.
And something feels off. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, once a place built for and by Black folks, is now run by a Mexican woman who is also the COO.
Now that's crazy right there. That is crazy that you got a Mexican that owns a Black staple in the community. But it doesn't surprise me because practically none of our soul food spots are Black owned. I mean, we pretty much don't have anything that's Black owned in California, with the exception of a few moms and pops burger joints such as Hawkins, Fresh and Meaty, and there's another one on Figueroa, I believe. I can't think of the name of it. But our moms and pop stores.
I want to give this brother a shout out, man. Let's Talk Shop with Old School. Shout out to Let's Talk Shop with Old School, man. That's who I got the video from. Shout out to him.
And M&M's. I think M&M's is still Black owned, but we don't really have any Black owned food places out there. And you got the Asians that own it, and you have the Mexicans cooking the food, Black people food. Think about that. That's crazy right there. It's real crazy work right there.
Most of the staff cooking the food aren't Black. That's not just a staffing change, it's a symbol. Because when the ownership, the narrative, and the profit leaves the hands of the people who created it, that's not cultural growth. That's cultural displacement. Compton is now nearly 70% Latino. Inglewood is majority Latino too. Long Beach has seen its Black population steadily fall. And the cultural angle.
Long Beach ain't been Black. I mean, we had a good Black population back in the day, but right now, nah, man, it's Cambodians, Mexicans. You know, we got a shipyard out there, it's a port out there, so you know they're not really trying to make that too Black. That's the only reason that Long Beach didn't get as bad as Compton in LA, because they got a port out there. And, you know, it's where you get, you know, international trade right there. So they can't have Long Beach like Compton. It wasn't.
Yeah, man, you got Mexicans cooking soul food. That's like if you go to Hector's Tacos and you got Black people cooking the tacos, Mexicans are going to be looking like, what the hell? The hell is this? Mexicans will be offended if they went to one of their favorite Mexican restaurants and all you seen was Black folks in there cooking that food. They would be highly upset. Well, guess what? When you go to these soul food joints, you got Mexicans cooking you soul food. That's what's going on.
Because if there was a port in Compton or Watts like that, it wouldn't be as bad. They'll make sure that the police their communities like they're supposed to.
The barbershops, churches, food spots, bookstores have been replaced, relocated, or erased.
Absolutely. No more Black bookstores. We had S1 bookstore. S1 bookstore, I remember they used to be in Inglewood. And a Zara's bookstore. You don't see them no more. They wiping that out. All down there in Leimert Park, S1 bookstore moved.
Yeah, man, when you go to Church's Chicken in California, shit, You're going to see a bunch of Mexicans working at Church's Chicken, working at Popeye. Love that chicken at Popeyes. Love that chicken at Popeyes. You got Mexicans cooking you Popeye's chicken. Mexicans cooking Church's Chicken. Just imagine if you went to your favorite, just imagine if you went to one of your favorite Mexican restaurants and all you seen was black folks in there cooking their Mexican food. Mexicans will be pissed off about that. Highly upset. Well, guess what? When you go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, you got Mexicans cooking your food.
Moved to Leimert Park on Deadman Street. And they haven't been able to keep them. I don't know if they're still there. I hope the brothers are still there. But we just don't have things like that in our community that we can go to. They raised the rent up on those people out there in Leimert Park so much, they had to shut the doors down on a lot of those businesses. They didn't even own the properties. They was renting them. They didn't come together and buy the properties. They steadily rented. And when they brought that train through there, because that's what they do, they bring that train through there, that's what wiped out all of those black businesses out there, because no company can take that type of hit where you got a railroad state. And I think it took about 10 years. So that means that.
Yeah, it's cooked, man. Yeah, he said Asians own Church's Chicken. I never heard about that, but maybe he's right. I don't know. Maybe they do own. I wouldn't be surprised if Asians own Church's Chicken. If you go to Baldwin Hills, right, on La Cienega and Rodeo, there's a Louisiana fried chicken over there. The Asians own it. You got Asians cooking you Louisiana fried chicken on Rodeo and La Cienega. That's Baldwin Hills. Well, that's on the borderline between Baldwin Hills and Culver City, because when you go, if you're on Rodeo Drive and you go west of La Cienega, that's Culver City. On the other side of La Cienega, that's Baldwin Hills. But right there on La Cienega, Louisiana fried chicken is a gang of you got Asians and Mexicans cooking you Louisiana fried chicken, man. That's crazy. You're not gonna go to a Mexican restaurant and see black people cooking you Mexican food. You're not gonna see that.
The barbershops, all of those other places, they couldn't keep their doors open because.
Yeah, Los Angeles black population is done. It's a wrap for Cali. There's nothing you can do about it. Once your population drops below 10%, it's pretty much a wrap after that. I'm telling you, once it gets under 10%, it is a wrap. You got immigrants who, listen, homie, you got immigrants who came to this country within the last 10 years, and they populated cities. Listen, they're in cities representing like 7 to 8%, and they just got here 5 years ago. Foundational black Americans have been in Los Angeles for centuries, and we're less than 10% of the population. We got Mexicans cooking us soul food. We got Asians cooking us fried chicken. That ought to tell you something. Los Angeles is cooked. It is a wrap. You go to you go to Eminem soul food. You got Mexicans cooking you soul food. You ain't gonna go to no Mexican restaurant and see black folks cooking you no burritos and tacos. Mexicans ain't gonna go for that. Nah, man, Mexicans ain't gonna go for that. Mexicans don't want black folks cooking their food.
There's nowhere for the customers to park because the train was being built. But let's listen to what my man is saying here.
It's not just Latino growth. Asians now make up a massive and growing demographic in Southern California. Places like Monterey Park, Cerritos, Diamond Bar, and entire areas of the San Gabriel Valley have become cultural powerhouses, complete with political influence, real estate ownership, and elite education systems. And still, no one asks, how did these newer communities get the support to thrive, while foundational black communities were left to rot? We can't ignore immigration either. Since the 1980s, California has received a constant wave of both legal and undocumented immigrants from Mexico and Central America. Many ended up in black neighborhoods, not by accident, but because those...
And they dumped all these Mexicans in black communities. All these Mexicans were dumped in South Central, Compton, Watts, Inglewood. They've dumped millions of illegal immigrants in black communities all across the city. That was done on purpose. That was no coincidence. Oh, we're going to dump these illegal immigrants in black communities. Yeah, homie, that was a plan. That was a master plan. True story. We're going to overpopulate these black communities with Mexicans, illegal immigrants. And they've been doing it for decades, well over 40 years in Los Angeles.
How did these newer communities get the support to thrive, while fellow black communities were left to rot? We can't ignore immigration either. Since the 1980s, California has received a constant wave of both legal and undocumented immigrants from Mexico and Central America. Many ended up in black neighborhoods, not by accident, but because those were the communities starved of investment and ripe for resettlement. Landlords saw new tenants, politicians saw new voters, developers saw profit, and black families, especially those who owned homes and businesses, found themselves boxed in, priced out, or pushed out. Jobs were disappearing, schools were failing, and rent? It was climbing faster than wages. Real estate developers swept through with buyout offers.
So think about that, man. The Mexican population continued to rise in black communities because they kept crossing the borders, overpopulating our communities, dumping millions of anchor babies. The jobs started leaving, not hiring black people. Everybody at McDonald's speaks Spanish. Everybody at Wendy's speaks Spanish. All the fast food restaurants that teenagers used to work at, ain't nothing but Mexicans working these jobs, running black people out of the community, overpopulating the city. Black flight, blacks are gone. They leave in the city in large numbers. Decrease in the black population. I'm telling you. I want y'all to hear that again. I want you to hear it again. Say it again, my brother.
But because those were the communities starved of investment and ripe for resettlement. Landlords saw new tenants, politicians saw new voters, developers saw profit, and black families, especially those who owned homes and businesses, found themselves boxed in, priced out, or pushed out. Jobs were disappearing, schools were failing, and rent? It was climbing faster than wages. Real estate developers swept through with buyout offers. Then came the gentrification. Trendy cafes, construction zones, shiny new stadiums, and rental prices that left no room for the original community. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood is a perfect example. A billion-dollar attraction built on the bones of a black neighborhood. Now let's talk about who's leading the city and whether they're truly representing the people who built it. Karen Bass made headlines as the first African-American woman to lead a state legislative body in the U.S. and is now the mayor of Los Angeles. But in 2018, she posted a picture of her grandfather, Salvador, describing him as a dreamer before the term existed.
See, this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense now. Karen Bass capes for immigrants. Now you understand why.
Construction zones, shiny new stadiums, and rental prices left no room for the original community. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood is a perfect example. A billion-dollar attraction built on the bones of a black neighborhood. Now let's talk about who's leading the city and whether they're truly representing the people who built it. Karen Bass made headlines as the first African-American woman to lead a state legislative body in the U.S. and is now the mayor of Los Angeles. But in 2018, she posted a picture of her grandfather, Salvador, describing him as a dreamer before the term existed.
See, this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. No wonder she went out of her way to help immigrants. It was something she was big on, getting illegal immigrants, EBT cards or debit cards or something like that. But she does nothing for black people, nothing. And here's what they do. They put people in office that look like us, and we think that they are people. We think that they are foundational black Americans such as ourselves, but they are not. And they do everything to undermine us. And we don't even hold these people accountable, whether it's Maxine Waters or Karen Bass. We don't hold these people accountable. As long as they get their check, they don't give a damn what happens to black Americans. California is, for black people living in California is really, it's a sad thing. All of the politicians, all of the decision makers are of other ethnic groups, as we can see right here. All of them are of other ethnic groups. And they've made it clear that they don't want to do anything for foundational Black Americans.
He came from Mexico, fought in World War II, received full GI Bill benefits, and built a business. It's a proud story, but you rarely see it in her campaign speeches or public branding. Base doesn't often highlight her Latino roots in political forums. Instead, she centers herself squarely in the Black community, presenting as a foundational Black leader from South LA. And that raises hard questions.
Wow.
If her Mexican heritage is real and personal, why isn't it more present when she campaigns? And if she owes her political rise to Black communities, Black churches, Black voters, Black movements, why do her policies so often prioritize other groups? Like her recent plan to offer prepaid debit cards to undocumented immigrants. All while Black homelessness in LA.
See, nothing for Black people, nothing. And I'm not saying you need to get in there and just bend over backwards for Black people, but be fair, be fair. I mean, they doing this shit in our face. We can see that we don't get nothing. We won't get shit.
Nothing. We get zero.
You need to get in there and just bend over backwards for Black people. But be fair. Be fair. I mean, they doing this shit in our face. We can see that we don't get nothing. We won't get shit. Excuse my language. We won't get anything from these people. And we won't even hold them accountable. To be honest with you, what needs to be done, we need to take a page out of Black people. Listen to me. We need to take a page out of the Italian Mafia's book.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
Mafia movies. So y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that.
Is at crisis levels. Who exactly is being served here? It's the same pattern we saw with Vice President Kamala Harris. Born to a Jamaican father and an Indian mother, Harris is not descended from U.S. chattel slavery. But during her presidential run, she embraced Black American culture, dancing with HBCU bands, quoting civil rights leaders, and calling herself part of the African American struggle.
Right. See, this is what we got to watch. People who are cosplaying as us so that they can get our vote, so that they can get our full support. We got to watch out for these cosplaying people. They're not us. Karen Bass is not a foundational Black American. This is why she only helps Mexicans and immigrants. Kamala Harris, it's clear to see that she's not a foundational Black American, but she wanted to use us to get votes. We got to get rid of these people cosplaying our culture, man. It's time to get rid of them. I'm tired of them. I've been tired of them a long time ago.
And yet once a father and an Indian mother, Harris is not descended from U.S. chattel slavery. But during her presidential run, she embraced Black American culture, dancing with HBCU bands, quoting civil rights leaders, and calling herself part of the African American struggle. And yet once elected, she focused on immigration, Asian hate crime legislation, and international relations. While foundational Black communities continued to wait for even basic acknowledgement, let alone reparations or reinvestment. This is what many now call identity extraction, the political borrowing of Black identity, struggle, and symbolism to win votes and build brand recognition. Newer terms that may fit.
Said Johnny Pastrami sold out too, man. You know, Johnny Pastrami on Adams and Crenshaw, man. You know, that's in my neighborhood over there, man. Adams. You know, you going up to Washington, go down the hill to Adams. You know, that's my stomping ground right there, man. I remember Johnny Pastrami's, you know, Johnny's is good, you know, but you might get shot going up to Johnny. It ain't bad as it used to be, but there was a time to where, man, them Pastrami's was fire, but you might get shot going up to Johnny's. I'm just keeping it 100. You know, it was a bunch of gangbangers hanging out at Johnny's. It's been a bunch of shootings and unalivings at Johnny Pastrami. Now you got Master Burgers right across the street. It's been there for a while, but you got Master Burger right across the street. Master Burgers is fire, by the way.
Are ones like Grifter or Tether. But once power is secured, the loyalty of the Black voter is left unrewarded. The policy promises go silent, and the focus shifts to everyone but the people who made the victory possible. Meanwhile, Black California is disappearing. South Central has been renamed. South LA schools are now majority Spanish speaking. The culture, gentrified.
I know. Shout out to Scoop, man. You already know, Scoop. Johnny's was fire, man. Get you, go right there on Adams right before you get to Crenshaw, man. Get you one of them pastrami's, man. The business, it was fire. But now you got Master Burgers right across the street. It is what it is. And you talk about you want to compete.
History ignored. The elders displaced. Crenshaw is full of construction signs. West Oakland looks like a tech campus. And the kids of the Great Migration, the sons and daughters of Louisiana and Texas, are gone. Even Roscoe's, once the meeting place for legends, feels different now.
Yeah, man. Johnny's was good, man. The only thing is you might get shot up there. You know what I'm saying?
It's still serving chicken and waffles, but the soul behind it, the people, the music, the stories.
It's still serving chicken and waffles, but it don't even taste the same. They don't even season it right. You know, Black people, we cook our food a certain way. You could tell when we put our foot in our food. It's just different. You know, we could tell. We can definitely tell. But nothing is the same. Nothing is the same out there no more. You know, they did a very good job of gentrifying it. At first, Black people were moving to the IE. You know, you had
the IE is like San Bernardino, Riverside.
Brothers and sisters moving out to Lancaster, Palmdale, Riverside. I moved to the IE. Then I bounced back out here. I bounced out here to Texas, right? And it's a different ball game here too, right? But what I notice out here is the Hispanics out here are not like the Hispanics in California, at least not yet. Because Black people deep out here. It's over 4 million Black people. That's what the census say. So if that's what the census say, I believe it's much more than that. But 4 million strong. Everywhere you go, you see Black people. It's impossible not to, unless you are in the country where you don't need to be. But pretty much everywhere you go out here, you're going to see some Black folks. You know, it's not that easy to go somewhere and not see Black people like it is in California. You could go places in California, you won't see no Black people. And that's crazy.
It's fading fast.
Yeah, man, that's a fact, man. You got, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. You got Mexicans cooking that food. It don't taste the same no more. Roscoe's ain't the same no more. You know, you go to, anyway, man, you get the picture. Louisiana fried chicken. You got Asians cooking your Louisiana fried chicken, man. It's a wrap for LA. It is over with. Once your population drops under 10%, it is a wrap. The population is not going to come back. You're not going to have Blacks moving to Los Angeles in large numbers. You have Blacks moving out of Los Angeles in large numbers. Blacks are not moving to Los Angeles in large numbers. Blacks are moving out of Los Angeles in large numbers. That is a fact.
Remember Boys in the Hood?
Yes, we do.
John Singleton made that film to capture the reality of.
We need, shout out to True Warrior Spirit, man. We need 50 more people to bless that like button. We need some more of you brothers to bless the Cash App as well. If you're a foundational Black American and you ain't blessing the Cash App, you ain't supporting the show, something is wrong with that picture. I do this content for y'all to educate the people who probably don't know. Let's go. Support the show. Act like you love this FBA content.
South LA. It was raw. It was painful. It was real. That world is almost gone now. You can walk those same streets today and not recognize a single building. And Mac 10, even he would probably struggle to find his old neighborhood. From 2000 to 2020, over 100,000 Black residents left Los Angeles County. Some went to the Inland Empire. Some left the state. Others just disappeared into poverty, displacement, or silence. This isn't migration, it's removal. Quiet, unspoken, strategic removal. The question isn't just where did they go? The real question is who will be next? Scope News tells the truth. And here are the facts. U.S. Census Bureau data confirms the sharp decline in Black residents across Los Angeles, Compton, Inglewood, Long Beach, Oakland, and San Francisco. The Urban Displacement Project, Pew Research Center, and UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs have extensively documented demographic shifts, immigration patterns, and the effects of housing policies on Black Californians. Karen Bass's Facebook post about her Mexican grandfather is public record. The GI Bill disparity for Black WE2's veterans is backed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and major civil rights history texts.
You know what? They said it's public record. He said it's public record, and it is. But no one is going to, Black people don't read on a large scale. Let me say that.
Hey, Golden Bird was fired too. Hey, Scoop, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Golden Bird was fired. My pops used to love Golden Bird chicken. And another, remember Pioneer chicken? Golden Bird chicken was fire. Pioneer chicken was fire. If you from LA, man, and you know, if you was born in the 90s, you might not know about Golden Bird and Popeyes. But if you were born like in the 70s or the 80s, you remember Golden Bird chicken, fire. You remember Pioneer chicken. I used to go down the street. I used to go to Western over there on Western to give me some of that Pioneer, man. You know what I'm saying? Golden Bird. Golden Bird on Adams. You know? Right off of Western. You hit Adams, you go to Golden Bird, fire. You go to Western Avenue in between Washington and Venice, we had Pioneer chicken back in the day. This was back in the early 90s, though.
See all these books back here. So we do read, but on a large scale, Black people are not going to dig into that and question her about that.
Yeah, on Western up the hill. You remember, shout out to my brother Scoop, man. Soon as you go up the hill, you hit a Western, you cross Washington, right in between Western and Washington, man, we had Pioneer chicken. Fire. That was some good old chicken, man.
Now, that's the same thing we had. That's the same issue with Kamala.
Churches on Western and Jefferson, exactly. Churches on Western and Jefferson. The Popeyes on Jefferson and La Brea. You dig? That's the West Side, man. I'm a West Side baby. Popeyes, Jefferson, La Brea. You know what I mean? Jefferson and Western. Church's chicken. Pioneer chicken was on Western in between Venice and Washington. Fire. Golden Bird. See, this is when Los Angeles was Black. Make Los Angeles Black again. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'll say make Los Angeles Black again. I think I'm going to make a hat. I'm going to make some shirts. Make South Central Black again. Will it happen? I don't think so. I believe the city is cooked.
But Ms. Bass hid that from us. She never said that. That was new information to me, you know. But I would always ask, wait a minute, why is Karen Bass? Why is she not doing shit for Black people? Why ain't she doing anything for Black people? And it makes sense now.
Reporting on Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles confirms management changes and demographic shifts. Kamala Harris's heritage and policy focus are supported by,
yeah, like I said, the Golden Bird on Adams. You know, you go to, you know, if you're on Adams Boulevard in between Normandy and Western on Adams, Golden Bird, fire. You know, my grandma stayed on Normandy right there, homie, on Normandy and 29th, right before you get to Jefferson. Van Buren right there. You know, and then as soon as you cross the other side of Jefferson, you got the Fruitown Brims over there. And then right on the other side of Normandy, you got the Harlems. Got the 20s right there. But yeah, man, my grandma stayed right there, man. You remember 32nd Street Market, the Village? Listen, homie. You remember 32nd Street Market? And then you at the Village, the movie theater, and USC is right across the street from 32nd Street Market, the Village where you go watch the movies, man. Then you had the Baldwin Hills Theater back in the day. Then you got the Magic Johnson Theater, the Baldwin Hill. But I'm talking about before the Magic Johnson, man. We used to go to the Village, man. Right. Shout out Scoop. I already know 32nd Street Market, man. The little mini little, yeah, homie. Shit, homie. You know, you go watch the movies at the Village, USC across the street. See, that's some real LA. That's some that's Los Angeles for you, homie. It ain't like that no more, man. The place looks completely different. The place looks completely different now.
Public campaign footage and federal legislation tracking. Historic migration patterns from Texas and
I used to play basketball for Dinker Park when I was a kid. When I was like 9 to 10 years old, I played basketball for this basketball league at Dinker Park. You know what I mean? But yeah, I used to play ball at Dinker Park. I played Little League basketball at Dinker back in the day, for sure. I was in a basketball league where Michael Cooper from the Lakers was like, I think it was like his league. Yeah, Michael Cooper came up there to watch us play basketball and all that, man. You remember Michael Cooper back in the 80s and the 90s? The LA Lakers? Yeah.
Louisiana to California are preserved in the Schomburg Center.
Yeah.
The California African American Museum.
Yeah, you know, you go to University Village to go see the movies, man. My grandmother stayed right down the street. As soon as you cross Vermont, before you get to Normandy on Jefferson, my grandma stayed right there. On the 20 side, though. But then on the other side of Jefferson, you got the Fruittown Brims. But shit, homie, that's my stomping ground.
And multiple UC archives. Special thanks to the Watts Labor Community Action Committee, the East Bay Black Cultural Archives, and oral histories recorded through StoryCorps and CAM. Legal disclaimer.
But listen, man, we're going to wrap this show up, man. And like I said, man, I wanted to give you guys some history, historical facts. FBA stand up. Yeah, Michael Cooper, man. I used to play Little League basketball at Dinker. Then I played basketball at this church on the east side over there off Main Street. Forget what street it was, man. It was so long ago, man, but it was off on the east side, man. You used to play ball over there. And we used to go to different little spots and play other kids, you know, play kids from other teams. Indeed. Yep, the Clippers played at the sports arena back in the day, man. You remember the sports arena? The Coliseum right there. You got the sports arena, the Coliseum. See, Staples Centers is a new thing. If you from Los Angeles, homie, if you from Los Angeles back in the day, man, you remember the Coliseum where the Raiders used to play. Then you had the Sports Center, you dig what I'm saying? The sports arena where the LA Clippers played for show. Staples Center wasn't around back then, homie. Staples Center is a new thing. And then you had the Lakers. The Lakers used to play in Inglewood at the Forum. You know where the LA Chargers play now? The LA Lakers used to play in Inglewood, right in Inglewood, right there at the Forum in Inglewood. We used to get tickets to go see the Lakers in Inglewood at the Forum. This is way before the Lakers started to play at the at Staples Center. Staples Center is a new thing. But back in the 90s and the early 2000s, you got to think, homie, way before this, we used to go to the Forum to watch the Lakers play to watch Inglewood to watch the Lakers play at the Forum. You remember the Forum in Inglewood? For sure. But make sure that you guys hit that like button. It ain't nothing. Yeah, the Forum, man. Inglewood always up to no good. Even Hollywood want to get a piece, baby. Even Hollywood want to get a piece, baby. Always up to no good in Inglewood. Watch the Lakers play at the Forum, man. The sports arena is old. It is. It's old, man. And the Clippers played there, man. And it is what it is. Coliseum. That's the original LA right there. Scoop, I already know, man. That's old school Los Angeles right there, man. Way before all this new stuff that you got now. Yeah, man. You remember the Forum, man. The Forum in Inglewood for sure. But anyway, man, we're going to conclude this show right here. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Shout out to Scoop for the Cash App. If you're a foundational Black American, make sure that you bless this show. We've been dropping a lot of game, knowledge and wisdom, the history of Los Angeles. It is what it is. But peace to everybody. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel with Red Supreme, King Supreme, that is. Subscribe, like, and share. I got to get up out of here, you guys. Peace. Enjoy the rest.